What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the GameTime Podcast. No live today. We got a recorded episode for you guys today. We are recapping week 4 of the NFL season. There you see behind me, GameTime Live. The first episode went out yesterday. Thank you guys for all the support. 160 views for the first GameTime Live. We had about 16 to 20 people actually watch it live. So thank you. Like I said on my Instagram, if you watched this for 1 second or you watched this for 1 hour, thank you so much for all the support yesterday on that college football recap in our first episode of GameTime Live. It will be live every Sunday from 11 to 12, 11 to 12:30. We don't really, we gave you guys a time, but we may go longer than that time, and it's all good and fun for sure. Once again, big thank you to Matt Gaddis for sponsoring the GameTime Podcast. Darrell, happy Monday. We are coming off an eventful college football weekend and an NFL weekend that, on paper, I didn't feel was that interesting, but we got some interesting results this week. So I will, of course, give you the floor first. What game would you like to address first?
Man, do I have to? I want to start off with the Colts and the Rams. The Colts, I keep talking about and use the phrase wet the bed. If there was a picture of the wet the bed in the dictionary, it would be a picture of the Indianapolis Colts after yesterday's game. Not only does your young receiver drop the ball at the 1 yard line, and the ball rolls out of the back of the end zone for a touchback, you take those 6 points off the board. Then they turn around 2 possessions later, maybe 3 possessions later. Jonathan Taylor scampers to the left to the end zone, and you go back and you got a different receiver, holding on the play in which he didn't even have to hold. He had no reason to be holding, and he held, and they take those 6 points off the board. So, if I'm a Colts fan, I'm sure there's a lot of Colts fans punching air last night and pointing the fingers. But with that said, they still had an opportunity to win the game at the end.
Yeah,
they didn't. Took a bad loss. Hopefully, as a Colts fan, they can regroup next week and bounce back and start another streak. That's what you want as a Colts fan, in my opinion. Not sure if you saw any of that game, or especially the play by the young man from Texas.
Donnie Mitchell dropping that was a rough. Yeah, I saw it all over my Twitter feed for
Oh,
sure.
You didn't see it live?
I didn't see it live. I saw it on my feed. But
that was really – you go from exhilaration. He's going down the sideline. He's
I can only imagine how much
between him and his defender, and then all of a sudden at the 1 yard line, he's like, "Uh-oh!" The first thing you thought was, did he fumble it after he hit the goal line? So then you look at the replay. It's like, man, you go. Man. That's a bad beat in about a minute and a half.
Colts would have won that game for sure. A lot of mistakes on the side of the Indianapolis Colts. Darrell, I'm not going to waste any time. I'm jumping right to Sunday Night Football because I want to say right now, I owe an apology to Dakota Wayne Prescott. I issue him a huge apology.
Can you speak up a little louder? The mic's a little faint right now. Can you speak up a little louder?
I apologize to Dakota Wayne Prescott for my slander in the off season, but I think you owe someone an apology as well, and that's to George Pickens. George Pickens played a heck of a game. You said, I know he's been a D. He's had the
go back to what I said. I'm the one that said he's just as good as CeeDee Lamb. I said his problem is between the ears. I've known who this guy is since he was at Georgia. That dude's a hell of a talent. So, and you may have felt that way because I was knocking one of your guys. But between the ears, George Pickens he's always been the same dude. Remember, I said he crashed out. Remember, he didn't want to have anybody, help him out. But I'm telling you, that dude's a beast, man. That does not surprise, especially now he's a lead dog.
He's
the lead dog now.
For right now.
I'm telling you, look out, George. You remember you said, hey, are they going to re-sign him?
Pay him. I put it on Twitter last night. Pay him immediately. Don't waste no time. Pay him.
You got to vet it out for 17 weeks. I'm telling you, he's got at least 2 more crash and burns in him until the end of the season. So
do not let
be
him
careful.
Pay him. I give credit to everybody on the Cowboys offense for last night's game. I mean, incredible. I have not been that excited watching Dallas in maybe 2 years. I got to be honest with you. In about 2 years, that was the most excited I've probably been watching the game. Because I was like, man, we're really – I mean, this offense is – and I give credit to that throw to Tolbert, the fade, and then Tolbert. I mean, just crazy. I didn't expect that. But what I really need to hit on, this defense may just be the worst defense in the NFL. It's absolutely atrocious. This defense is horrible. Josh Jacobs is a really good running back. I understand that. But, man, there was times a 3rd and 8 could have been way more, and it completely just got out of hand, and we let Josh Jacobs run. It was just Jordan Love breaking out of the pocket when we probably should have had a sack. Just absolutely ridiculous, the defense that was played last night. That's why we lost. I mean, I'm calling the tie a loss. I mean, no one won, no one lost, but it feels
until
like
week
a loss.
17 when there's a tiebreaker. The first tiebreaker is wins and losses.
The defense really let me down because I think they could have played a lot better. They could have played a lot better also with how these first couple weeks have gone. And when I look at Dallas's schedule, they're in the games that they have lost at this point. All those games were winnable, very winnable to be fair, other than probably Chicago. Chicago was a train wreck on both sides for the most part, but don't know how to grasp this team right now. I really love what the offense is doing. I think the offense has been great. Dak's playing at an MVP level. I'm not afraid to admit that.
How did the offensive line play?
They get me frustrated. Don't get me wrong. I mean, there's some times where Dak has to fight for his life, but I mean, that's going to happen.
You're going against guys get paid on the other side too.
Micah was pretty quiet last night as well. He did have that big tackle on Dak. Dak almost got into the end zone, but almost won the game. Micah made a big play there. But other than that, it was a quiet night for Micah. It was a great game to watch. Wish they would have won. I will refrain from the Dak Prescott hate until we're in January. Then we'll see how well he's playing. I said before the season even started, I said he's a great regular season quarterback. Let's see what happens in January.
See, that's not a compliment, though. That's a dig. So
it's a bit of a dig.
That's a dig.
But I admit, last night in the first 4 weeks of the season, other than I want to say Chicago was rough on both sides. He's been balling. I will give him credit where credit is due.
So let me do this then. Let me throw a curveball. Through 4 weeks this week, who's the better quarterback? Dak Prescott or the guy in the LA? Through 4 weeks.
Herbert. I would say Herbert.
Could you explain to me why?
I mean, I think Herbert's just been the better quarterback. I mean, I don't have
you clearly didn't see him play against the Giants yesterday.
Okay, he had a bad game against the Giants.
Right. So my point being is this is the same team.
I would say Dak didn't have a great game in Chicago. He didn't have a great game in Chicago.
Chicago's got a legitimate defense, though.
New York's defense ain't bad. It's not.
You must not have saw the Washington Commanders game in week 1, then, huh?
That's week 1.
Saying that all to say is every week takes on its own identity. That's my point. Every week takes its own identity. And I'm gonna tell you this: through 4 weeks, I would still take Dak over Mr. Herbert. Dak's a leader. Everybody looks up to him. You see how those guys gravitate to Dak. I don't see those guys gravitating to Herbert.
I think they both have been playing really well. You could say both of them have arguably been a top 5 quarterback in the league this season with the way they're playing. I would still personally, yes, take Herbert over Dak, but I'm not. But if you told me right now I'd want Dak over Herbert, I think there's an argument to be had on both sides for sure. I think Herbert has the more complete team. So when we do get to January, I think a lot of things, we'll see how Dak plays, but I mean, a lot of it's going to be on the defense. He's already carrying a heavy workload now than he has the last couple seasons, especially with how bad the defense is. I'll give you credit. Offensive line has been better than I thought, just off visuals. If you don't look at the stats, it feels like the offensive line is worse than they're playing, but they're actually playing better than what a lot of people thought they would be.
They're getting better and better each week, man. It's a young offensive line. They're only going to get better.
But the Chargers defense, I have to – granted, I live in Indiana, so I saw the Chargers on Monday Night Football, and I've seen them here and there, but I haven't got to watch them fully enough.
Okay.
Defense is okay. I wouldn't say it's obviously better than Dallas, but I don't think it's one of the top defenses in the league. I'll pull up some stats here in a moment. Once I give you the floor here, I'll pull up some stats and see. But I would say right now, when you look at both of their situations, both have high-powered offenses. Herbert, I think you could say it's more on Herbert in his situation, right, with his receiving core and everything else. Dak, it's also on Dak, but he also has, I would say, a better receiving core. Both are in interesting situations. We'll see where they end up come January. But I like how the Chargers are playing. I like how the Cowboys are playing. Just one team has a slightly better defense than the other right now.
Yeah, man. The thing about Dallas for me, and I'm not a Dallas Cowboys fan, but through all the adversity the players are running through with the owner doing his promos after every game and prior every game, and then all the attention that they get the national attention. We can say what we want, but Dallas moves the needle more than any team in the NFL. Good, bad, or indifferent, they move the needle. And what I would say is this: through all the challenges they've had, Dak has been a constant. Yeah. And also as the year goes on, I see not only the offensive line getting better, I see their offense as a whole even getting better, right? The challenge is going to have for Dallas is that defense, man. There's no Superman to save them. And it still wouldn't have been Micah Parsons anyway, in my opinion, because he's not in the defensive backfield. He was a primary rusher. He's not a run stopper. He's more of a one trick pony right now, getting to the quarterback. He's not great in pass defense. He's not a great run defender as well. So people say, "Oh man, you can't believe you let Micah go." Maybe they would have been a tick better because you got opportunity to put pressure on a quarterback. But big picture wise, I think Jerry Jones made the right move still, in my opinion.
Yeah, so on paper, Cowboys are the worst defense in the NFL.
You don't have to look at paper to see that.
On paper. I know. I said it just a minute ago. I'm like, they're probably the worst defense in the NFL.
They're bad, yeah.
No, they're the worst defense in the NFL. And then Baltimore's the 31st team. New York is 30th. The Chargers are actually top 3 behind Atlanta and Cleveland.
Yeah.
Cleveland's actually not that surprising because of Garrett.
Shutouts. Yeah, shutouts will help you.
But the Chargers, top 3. Wouldn't expect that. I'm like, okay, middle of the pack, but they're pretty okay. My bad. Defenses it's a completely different spectrum for sure.
Enough time on Dallas and the Chargers. Let's pivot over to a big win by those Texans yesterday. Much needed victory. Shutout for the Tennessee Titans, 26-0. Granted, the Titans are a poor team on both ends of the ball, offensively and defensively, but it's just what the Texans ordered, man. They needed a win like this to not put the ball in that quarterback's hands in the fourth quarter, and they didn't do that. They shut them out. They play again, lights out on defense again. They've been lights out, pretty much all season long. Unfortunately for them, the offense puts them in such bad positions, right? So really proud of the Texans and the way they played out, especially after letting loose C.J. Gardner-Johnson last week for conduct detrimental, supposedly.
Yeah, no, big win for the Texans for sure. I would agree with you on that. They need a little more than a win over the Texans. We'll see what happens next week, obviously, but it's a start. It's definitely a start. We'll see what happens as we move on. I will go to Philadelphia and Tampa Bay. Interesting game.
But that's good.
I was wondering who I wanted to go to because there's a couple of teams I want to go to, but I'll go there first. Big win for Philadelphia. Doesn't change my thoughts about the NFC yet. I think right now, like I've been saying the last couple of weeks, Eagles are a little more human than we thought. Packers aren't this super defense like we thought. I think last night was a good example of that as well. Feels a bit even in the NFC right now, and the more and more Tampa didn't look good. They routed a comeback, an almost comeback, but it feels like the Detroit Lions are sneaking back into this conversation of
they're not sneaking anywhere.
No, I'm just saying.
But that's not that we're geniuses, but the Lions, man, they just steady as she goes. Steady as she
Yep.
goes. The
Yep.
first quarter and a half against the Browns yesterday was a little bit tough. I think it was 10-7 or 7-3 or something like that. It was a little struggle. Second half, they put their wheel on them, right? And pulled away 34-10. Good job by the gambler, Dan Campbell. I'm sure you've seen the memes online where he's at a blackjack table and he's got 19 and he's telling the dealer to hit him, which means he's going to go for it all the time, right? The Lions played really good ball yesterday on offense. Defense, was stout as well too. Granted, it's against a Cleveland offense that's not very strong, so good for him. And on top of that, they were at home, so give them credit. But back to the Eagles and the Bucks. I love the fact that they faked the tush push. They rubbed it in everybody's nose. They said, you know what? We're going to show you. We're going to pivot off of this. I love it. After each week, I'm becoming more and more of an Eagles fan because of all the quote unquote hate that they're receiving about a play that everybody can do. I love the pivot that they did. I love the block punt for a touchdown to start the game off, and they kept hitting Tampa Bay. Those things that Tampa Bay was getting away with against the Texans, against other teams, they did not get away with it yesterday against those Eagles.
Yeah. Yep. NFC tier. This is what I've got. So in Super Bowl tier, I've got Eagles, Buccaneers, Packers, Lions. It's not in an order, just who I have in there. Playoff teams, I've got the Commanders, I've got the Falcons, I've got the Rams. Falcons are at 2-2, bounce back win against the Commanders, but it was no Jaden Daniels. I still have them in there. Solid, but not good enough. Right now, I've got the Cowboys, Cardinals, and Niners. Could make the playoffs. If they do make the playoffs, I think it's an early exit for all three of those teams at the moment right now. And I don't know tier. This tier has not had any changes to it, but I am going to make a change to it today. Vikings, Seahawks, and Bears. I am moving the Seahawks up to the top of tier 3, which is solid but not good enough. I want to see them. I'm ready for them to play a contender, and then I can really gauge them if they're a playoff team or not. And it's not they have to win it. Can they keep it close? That's what I want to see. But I like what I'm seeing from Seattle. I like what I'm seeing from Darnold and crew. So I'm going to move the Seahawks up to tier 3, solid but not good enough. And then obviously in tier 5, I've got, long way to go. Panthers, Giants, Saints. Saints kept it close against the Bills, and then eventually the Bills just took off. So nothing much you can do there when it comes to those teams. I'm not going to make an AFC tier list because I just don't feel a need to. I think the NFC is more interesting to me right now. So I'll continue to update that week by week. But it's interesting still, man. The Packers, they felt like the best team after week 1, and obviously things are going to flip, things are going to change. I would still say they're contenders. If you're a Packers fan, Darrell, are you concerned about Sunday night and that defense? Are you concerned about Jordan Love almost costing them the game because he took a snap with 10 seconds left, and then luckily either it was going to be an interception, a touchdown, or an incompletion, and then the incompletion had 0 seconds on the clock. Luckily, there was 1 second left to send it into OT, and the Cowboys would have won the game. If you're a Packers fan, are you concerned about anything at this moment in time?
I'll just tell you, no, because last night's game, Dallas was on all cylinders on offense.
Yeah,
Green Bay played great on defense. Had it not been for that block extra point, we're not even talking about this. I mean, the 2 points that Dallas got in the first half. So if that didn't happen, and I know if is a big word, but you don't normally see a PAT return for 2 points. No. I bet you it's happened probably 3 times in the last 5 years.
Yeah.
Right. So with that, I wouldn't be overly concerned with Green Bay. I think they're about in the same boat. We talked about an opportunity to be in the NFC title game. Them, Philadelphia, Tampa Bay, and also again, I like the Commanders still, but I didn't like what happened yesterday.
Yeah, and I think I just got them. I got them sitting in playoff teams for now. Yeah. The loss to the Packers is probably what made me move them down for now. We'll see what happens
I can understand why. It's just Man, you saw look what happened yesterday. You know, your Chargers get thumped by the Giants. When we were going over our teams last week, we spent about a half a second on this game. No chance. Move on to the next. That's the beauty about the NFL.
Yep.
Each week is its own independent place and piece. And you don't know what's going to happen. I bet you a lot of the bettors, and I know I'm one of them, haven't been very happy over the last few weeks because you think these can't misses is an easy can't miss, and it turns around and that team gets beat.
Yeah, Chargers and Giants. I didn't expect the Giants to lose, but you know what? They won a game. I mean, it worked. I mean, you look at our schedule prediction. We had them losing to the Chiefs, and we had them winning against the Giants. Those basically flipped, and then they probably. I forgot what we had in the schedule prediction, but they in the first 4 weeks the Chargers have done better than what we probably had them in the schedule prediction.
I think we may have had them like 2-2,
probably
something like that. Yeah, something like that.
Yeah,
but I want to pivot on something else too, right? I want to pivot on Baltimore because
I was waiting.
we talked about Baltimore in the beginning of the season. We said that's going to they're going to be at worst case the AFC Championship game. We talked about that, right? And I said I think this is the year they break through.
Yeah,
I just didn't realize how bad their coach was going to be this year.
Ramon brought up a great point.
You know, he started off the season wetting his bed against Buffalo, giving up. And as the season has gone, I've seen nothing different. Yeah. You know, you got to do something different. Your defense got talent all over the board over there. Somebody's missing something. And don't give me the injuries. Everybody's got injuries at this point of the year, right? I just think they've continued to shoot themselves in the foot. And Lamar looked lost yesterday. He looked lost and he looked confused. And I wouldn't be surprised that their team is tipping off some of their offensive scheme because they have not been able to do much at all the last 2 weeks at all. And more tape means more people are going to be paying attention to that. I apologize to the folks in the AFC. I'll put, if you want to talk about tiers, right now Baltimore is in tier 3, whatever that is.
Solid, but not good enough.
Not good enough.
So Ramon brought up a great point when we were talking college football. I got on James Franklin, but then he brought up the stat about Sark. So here's what I'm going to say right now. I said last night on my Twitter, I said it's time to have a conversation about if Lamar Jackson will ever win a Super Bowl or against Mahomes. He is 1-4 against Patrick Mahomes. Mahomes is 4-1 against Allen. And I said, but to back that up, right? You know, if I'm going to come after James Franklin, I need to go after Sark. And in this case, Sark is Josh Allen, right? When you look at Josh Allen, I'd
still take Sark over the guy in USC though.
Allen is 4-1 against Mahomes in the regular season, but in the playoffs, Allen is 0-3 against Mahomes. So just bringing that part up too. I'm going to discredit Jackson, but I understand Allen is in the same boat as Jackson as well. But I would say Allen has more of a cushion for the fact he's won in the playoffs as well. I mean, Lamar has lost to Tennessee in the playoffs. Those Derrick Henry Tannehill teams he lost to. He hasn't just lost to Mahomes, where it feels like Allen has only lost to Mahomes in the playoffs. Jackson has lost to a multitude of teams in the playoffs up to this point.
Well, I think it's because the only people that Buffalo's lost to is pretty much Kansas City. I think they've stopped them from getting to the Super Bowl, I think 3 times, right? So with that said, it's in our face. You got Josh Allen, you got Mahomes, you got Jackson.
I gotta plug my computer in. You can keep going now.
Okay. You got those 3 quarterbacks, and those 3 quarterbacks are the epitome and the example in the AFC right now. Until somebody takes over that mantra right now. So the conversation about AFC is going to include one of those 3 guys. Either good, bad, or indifferent. But from a Jackson perspective, what I see is I see a guy who's had to climb and climb and climb. And I said at the beginning of this year, I felt like this was going to be his opportunity to get over the mountain. I don't believe that anymore right now. He looks lost. He looks confused. And that's got to be, something to do with coaching as well. So from my perspective, I would mention the coaching in Baltimore has been subpar, and they got to do better. If they don't do better, they may be a one and done if they get into the playoffs. I know you're still working on your computer, But that's the take on Baltimore with Buffalo. They had another good win yesterday. They did what they had to do against the Saints. The Saints, are probably the worst team in the league right now, and Buffalo walked them down, 31-19 win. But it seemed like it should have been better and a more lopsided game than 31-19. When you're talking about probably the best team in the AFC versus the worst team in the NFL. Second part, I would look at 49ers and Jaguars. 49ers got beat by the Jaguars. We were talking about 49ers got an easy road to the playoffs. That road just got more difficult because why? They just played the Jaguars and they lost at home, by the way. That was not a good loss at all for them, and they're going to be licking their wounds. Great job with the Bears beating the Raiders yesterday out in Las Vegas. Ashton Jeanty had a breakout game. He scored 36 fantasy points for me yesterday, which I'm glad about that. I was thinking about putting Ashton Jeanty on the bench, and there's no need to put Ashton Jeanty on the bench after scoring 36 points against the Bears yesterday. So I'm happy with that. That makes me happy.
Man, I went to plug in my computer. Next thing you know, I look up, I'm gone. I was like,
no, you're good.
You held it down.
We'll edit it out. I was just going through game by game. We'll edit it out. No worries.
But no, but the point I was bringing up with Jackson and Allen there was, I think for Jackson, there's this conversation of like, he's got to get it done. And now it's becoming a case of like, can he win these bigger games, not only in the playoffs, but also in the regular season as well?
Yeah. Well, this thing about Jackson's been talked about for the last few years. This isn't an overnight deal, right? So if we're gonna look for coaches, we're gonna put them on the chopping block. Look, man, their coach has been there for almost 20 years. Yeah, they got a Super Bowl. Got it. Granted. Thank you. Congratulations. That was a long time ago. Just like Mike Tomlin is not getting the love for his Super Bowl win, at least Mike Tomlin has been to 2 Super Bowls.
Yeah.
Right? Been to 2.
Yeah.
Not 1, 2. And he got the same amount of victories as that coach in Baltimore. Maybe we need to start talking about that story is being owed to those players as well. Maybe Harbaugh has worn out his welcome. Because you're not going to remove Jackson. You're still talking about a top 5 quarterback in the league. So you're not going to remove him. So you're not going to. So what do you change if you're not going to change the player? You change the coach. So I'm not saying the guy should be let go. I would never pine for somebody to lose their job, ever. With that said, change sometime is good. And maybe it's an opportunity for Baltimore to look at other directions.
No, I get it. But at the same time, like, if you got to make change, it's a business. Coaches understand that, players understand that. I mean, when you look at it, Harbaugh probably shouldn't lose his job, but if it comes down to it, he'd probably be the guy that is going to go first.
What if they don't make the playoffs? Yeah,
if they don't make the playoffs, then you're probably on the hot seat at that point. The seat's hot. The seat's not hot right now.
So if you don't make the playoffs, that means you got a lot of losses. So it should be building up. The hot seat should be there before the end of the season, because if you don't make the playoffs, that means you're going to have 8, 9, 10 losses, or more potentially. So his seat needs to start warming up today, not in week 12.
What are they 2-2?
I think they're 1-3. They're 2-2.
No, they're 1-3. Yeah, they're 1-3 because
1-3.
Because the loser of that game would have been 1-3. Chiefs.
Hey, this feels like pro wrestling back in the 70s. They used to have these matches called the loser leave town match. So yesterday's game between the St. Louis. The Kansas City Chiefs and the Baltimore Ravens was a loser leave town match. And I got a feeling Baltimore is about to leave town.
There we go. Well, I've got so much technology just not working on my favor right now, but it's all good. We're gonna keep rolling. You talk about we talked about this. We talked about this before the season, right? If 2 teams are gonna miss if 2 teams are gonna enter the playoffs, which 2 teams are gonna leave the playoffs? I can tell you a team that looks like they're gonna make the playoffs this year is the Jacksonville Jaguars. They possibly make the playoffs.
That's why Robert Saleh was so mad yesterday. He wasn't mad about somebody stealing signs. He was mad because he lost out on his parlay. He picked the 49ers against the Jaguars, and so did we. All of us did.
No, you know what? You know what? I put down a 2-leg parlay yesterday. I would have won $62. I put down 10. I needed the Colts to beat the Rams. I needed the Colts to beat the Rams and the Jaguars to beat the Niners. And I thought
every little bit counts.
Man, and the Colts lost. The one time I put money on the Colts, they want to be the Colts.
Yeah. So, hey, but that's the good part about this, right? You know, Jacksonville's going. I think if think about this. If it was a fifth, we'd all be drunk. But if Jacksonville holds on against Cincinnati, they're undefeated.
Crazy. And
that's Jacksonville.
Who would have thought of that?
That's North Florida. That's North Florida. That's their name. North Florida.
That's the Travis Hunter. No, I'm joking.
Hey, you know, I'll take it. That's the mojo. We'll take it. You know,
Liam Cohen not doing a bad job either. I mean, props to Jacksonville because I did not expect this, but they're taking the opportunity with the Texans not being that good. Both the Colts and the Jaguars are like, all right, well, we can win the division, so let's see if we can win it. So
if you want to let me have it, I'll take it. Right?
Props to both teams there because right now they're in firm. Both of them control their own destiny at the moment in winning that division.
Check this out. The next 2 weeks for the Ravens. Excuse me. Texans and Rams.
Those are both losable.
They got the Texans at home, and they've got the Rams at home. Can you imagine if it's a close game in the third quarter, the Boo Birds starting to come out at Baltimore? These are two good teams they got to play. Now, granted, Texans and their offense is a lot to be desired, but that defense is real.
Yeah.
And then the Rams showed yesterday that their offense is real. So as it looks now, it wouldn't surprise me if they eke out of this 1-1.
Texans are the fifth best defense in the NFL on paper. On paper, they're the fifth best.
They're probably the hardest hitting team in the NFL, though. Them dudes hit hard, man.
Yeah. I mean, I would say the Rams game is a harder game. I think the Ravens. I thought the Ravens were going to beat Kansas City, and I was wrong. So I'm done taking the Ravens. I'll actually take.
We also thought the Chargers would be the Giants. I got to throw that back at you again.
It is what it is. It is what it is. They'll be good.
But that's the thing, though, man. We laughed about it, right?
Yeah.
You know, man, we're on this podcast, and that's great. And listen, give me a dartboard. Give me a dartboard because it's so topsy-turvy. No one thought Jackson Dart would come out and score the first touchdown. Then he's doing that the heebie-sheebie dance, whatever that is. And I'm like, listen, a lot of confidence. And they put the offense in a place where it was conducive to his skill set.
But you find your franchise quarterback, you lose your franchise receiver. Give and take. Malik Neighbors out for the year, torn ACL. We got to, and you know what? There's got to be a real conversation about getting that MetLife Stadium turf completely, utterly destroyed, man. It's taken so many.
Do you know how much money they spent to build that?
I don't care, man.
I'm make a point. The money they spent to build that monstrosity of a building. You house two complete NFL teams in there, not just sharing a locker room. Two complete NFL teams there. Yeah. And you mean to tell me that's your field? The owner should have his blank kicked, and whomever's making the decision to keep that on there should probably, at worst, be fired. Because you just lost a young man who was starting on the epicenter of a great career. And that doesn't mean he's not going to be able to come back and be the same guy. But there's a little bit of a drop-off.
Yep.
Even with modern technology right now, there's a drop-off here with regard to the ACL piece.
Yeah.
And now look. So it's a year to 14 months. So he'll probably miss most of next year too.
It's week 1, or not week 1. It's week 4.
He'll probably miss most of next year.
Jackson Dart looked good.
Yeah.
Right? Looked good. Him and Dayball hugging. Did Brian Dayball save his job?
I can't. I don't even think it was Brian Daboll's decision to go with Jackson Dart. I wouldn't trust Brian Daboll to watch my granddaughters. I don't trust him. I don't trust his constipated look. I don't trust his lack of personality, and I don't like his lack of what's the word? Transparency. I think he's a phony. He's a Belichick guy. I think he's a phony. I think he lacks transparency. I'm not going to wish the guy gets let go, but I think he's a horrible coach for that team. They can do what they want with him, but I don't even think it was his decision to go with Jackson Dart. Because you know why? I'm going to tell you why. He has made it clear, this was my decision. Why do you got to say that if it was your decision? You're the head coach. Who are you reminding that it was your decision? Yeah. I don't trust him.
I don't know, man. The way he was hugging Dart, he cleared.
Yeah. He hugged him like, man, you saved me for a minute.
Saved my job. Yeah. Saved my job.
Yeah, his lack of personality ain't gonna save him, no.
Did you see? This is probably my last thing, and it. Did you see that interview from Ben Johnson to that reporter, CBS reporter? Listen.
I don't want to go down that path, but I want to go down that path.
Go ahead.
We may be on different sides here.
Oh, really? Okay, go ahead.
I think these reporters asked some of the dumbest questions you could ever hear. I think her asking that question / statement was improper. That wasn't a question. She was making a statement about, something about you need to change. No, ask a question and I'll give you an answer.
So I watched the clip.
You're talking about the field reporter, the female field. Yeah, they ask these leading questions to try to get an answer. I don't think it's reporting, and I think it's a travesty that these coaches have to come off the sidelines going into halftime, already heated, veins popping out of their necks to talk about something. I don't think it's right. I know it's made for TV, and I get all of that, but I don't think a coach should have to at halftime, Greg going, oh, wait a minute, I got to give you three minutes of time. No.
She asked, do you need to change what you are doing?
No, what she was saying is you need to change what you're doing.
No, it's a quote. I mean, I'm reading the quote.
But my point is they ask these questions in leading places, just like they did with Sam Pittman at Arkansas. She's saying, you need to change something. I don't like it. I don't like their line of questioning because it's not questions. It's leading commentary, and it's not necessary. No one's interested in what a heated coach has to say at the halftime of a game where his team is down. Nothing good can come from it. He's not going to give you anything solid, anything tangible. All you're looking for is a soundbite.
Yeah.
That's what we're into now. Sound bites, quotes, hot takes. I think it's garbage, man. Whoever would have been asking the question or making the statement. It's garbage. I don't like it at all. That's why when halftime goes, I click to another game. I don't care what he's got to say. Because it's either A, scripted, or B, out of emotion. Either way, it's not what he would say an hour later after the game.
Fair enough. I get what you're saying. I think when I first saw it, I was like, man, Ben was heated. But yes, the way she asked it, do you think you need to change anything? I mean,
that's a statement.
I've interviewed a lot of coaches, but I have never asked. There's a way you can ask that, but the way she asked was horribly asked. You don't ask like it's you can put it. What adjustments do you want? What adjustments could you make?
Do the cliche stuff. What adjustments are you looking to make?
Yeah. Do you think you need to change anything?
That's a leading question to say you need to change something.
Somebody. That. At that point, the coach is going to defend himself and be like, no, I don't think so. And maybe some coach will be selfless enough to say, yeah, I think we need to maybe change this or something like that. Or I need to talk to my coordinator. We need to change this, change that, or whatever. But
that's why they say we'll go in and make some adjustments. They give the canned answer and they keep on going. But I felt when I saw it, I felt she was out of line. And then when I saw the replay, I really felt because I felt like she was trying to lead him to saying something.
Yeah,
they're in her ear telling her what to say. These silent, they're being fed stuff. I don't like it. What good does it do from a broadcast from a person looking at the game? What does it give you?
Yeah, it was a rough question. Ben came off a little rude, but I mean it's rude. People are gonna feel how they feel.
He's a coach.
No, I get you.
It's just like when they ask a boxer right after the match as he gets knocked down or loses in a decision. oh, well, I'm going to go back and look at the film and see how. No, the emotions are too high. But that's what they want. They want the emotion. Mm-hmm. But be careful what you ask for. You might get it. And then you get mad when you get the emotion. What if he just said, look here, blankety blank, don't worry about it. Then we'd have been killing it. He would have been this emotion.
Yeah.
I don't like it. I don't like it at all. They're not going to strike it because, they want views. They want the click. Yeah. Be careful what you wish for. One of these coaches, one of these days, is going to go ham on one of these sideline reporters. Then they're going to be, I can't believe he handled himself that way.
We will see. Is there anything else you have about this week? Any predictions for tonight's games as well? I think the Broncos. I think the Broncos can win tonight.
Listen, I'm in 5 leagues, and I just need those guys that I got playing tonight to do really, really well. Tyreek Hill. Really, really well, Tyreek Hill.
Jets or Dolphins? It's in Miami.
Justin Fields needs to do really, really well.
Is he playing tonight?
Yeah. Garrett really needs to do really, really well.
Jets will win tonight. Give me the Jets.
Sutton for the Broncos. I really need him to do well. I need Brown to come out of his shell for the Bengals and to have a great night as a running back because Ashton Genty did. There's no reason why Brown can't.
Hey, Russell Wilson to Cincinnati. We may see that in a couple weeks, too. You never really know.
Russell Wilson is not going anywhere.
I know.
He's going to be in New York. And after this year, him and Sierra are going to go out and enjoy life as they should. He's a wealthy man. He's got crazy, crazy income. Great for him.
I don't know if you guys can see it, but those chains up there, they're hanging up. That's what Russell Wilson needs to do with the cleats and the helmet. He needs to hang it up. It's time to be done. Hang it up. Man,
it was a good week 4. A lot of unpredictable things that happened. I see no reason why tonight between the Jets and Dolphins and the Bengals and Broncos, I wouldn't be surprised if those 2 are the best games of the week.
One game's going to be a stinker, though. We'll see. I think the Jets. Yeah. It'll be fun to watch Justin Fields. I'm excited to watch him.
I'm watching them both to the end because there's a lot riding on them. So
fair enough.
Be up pretty late.
He's got some fantasy matters to attend to. Fantasy football matters. I'm just going to watch. A lot of my teams in fantasy football lost this week. 2 of them may win. We'll see. Not too worried about it. What I was worried about today was media day. I watched the Pacers and Lakers media days respectively. Luka looks pretty skinny, man. He looks thin.
Hey, they're gonna help him on the defensive end. He's still lazy between the ears. But listen, speaking of that, I gotta say this. I know we're talking about football.
No,
I got my invite to the Pacer Jam this Sunday at 11 a.m.
Okay.
So I'm not going to go see my boys this Sunday. I've got work to do here on our podcast, so I'm choosing my podcast over my Pacers, and there's a lot of good stuff for.
I tell you, let's go. I wouldn't mind going to that.
That's going on for Sunday. So yeah, listen, I'm turning the corner here. I'm not going to go against my boys, but I'll be here on Sunday. I won't be in Bankers Life. Well, Gainbridge Fieldhouse, rather. Excuse me.
Well, speaking of the Pacers, I saw this on Instagram too, so I'll give him a shout out real quick. Mark Boyle got an extension. He will continue broadcasting for the Pacers. So big shout out to our friend Mark Boyle. Make sure you guys go check out that interview we did with him in the infancy of the podcast. We're hoping to bring him back at some point. But as basketball season continues to come back, we had some basketball coaches on, and let's just say we've got a lot more lined up, right? Coach Wood.
We got some names coming. Coach
Wood, he's already asked me about coming back on. Coach Hester. We actually may have a weekly series.
Coach Hester's my boy. Hey, that's my boy. hey, I'll take over for you. That's my dude now. Me and Coach Hester like this. We texted and everything.
We may have a weekly thing coming with Coach Hester in a couple weeks once their season gets started. And then obviously we got some other coaches at the NAIA level. We're working on some other stuff too, but we got some stuff on the pipeline for you guys once basketball season hits. I work in basketball a lot because IU East doesn't have a football team. So, Matt Taylor was a great interview, but my football connections are very limited compared to my basketball connections. So, but
we got work to do. We'll be okay. We got a lot of nice surprises between the start of the NBA season and November.
Yeah. College football, though, I think there's someone we got to get back to about getting him back on. I think you know who I'm talking about, but we probably need to reach back out to him.
It'll happen. He's already let me know. Just let me know.
Okay. So, yeah. But, folks, that is when to do it. Sorry on my side with the technical difficulties. Literally, reached down to plug in my thing because I noticed it wasn't plugged in. Looked back up. Computer said,
what you did, you reached down to turn the volume down in the kennel with all those dogs barking, those 17 dogs barking.
I'm going to get a picture so you guys can see all the dogs that were barking downstairs. I'll get a picture eventually and send it to you guys and maybe put it in this video. But, folks, that is going to do it. You'll see this video after Monday Night Football, so let me know if me and Darrell were right on the predictions or not. But that is going to do it, folks. We'll see you guys next time for more right here on the GameTime Podcast.
Friends, family of the GameTime Podcast, do me a quick favor. All right, reach out and get your T-shirts. If you look to the right of me or the left of me, you'll see both of my colleagues have these beautiful GameTime T-shirts.
Yeah, man, check it out. Check it out. You see it right here, the logo that you see on the pod.
What you don't see is me with one because they forgot to give me mine. So you go get yours before I get mine, all right? Because you're closer to the family than I am because they left me out. I love those two, like cooked food, but they left me out. But you know what? They won't leave you out. Contact Isaiah, contact God. You can even contact me, and maybe we'll get ours together at the same time. All right?
We might.
Get in touch with us for details. We'll take care of you.
Absolutely. Rock the Game Time.
GameTime Podcast. That is right, folks. We are officially selling shirts. If you have any interest in buying them, let us know. $20 is the price for that. We're a startup selling them, so maybe Darrell will be nice. And,
maybe some flexibility. You never know. Just reach out and see. These aren't free, but hey, we have some opportunity to put our word out there. The GameTime Podcast as we continue to grow, for sure.
It's all about support. So if you guys do want to support us, make sure you guys do let us know. Just something we're starting up. Just going to see how it worked. We originally got them made for the pod, but then we had a couple people reach out to me and Darrell about maybe wanting to buy some. So we were like, you know what? Why not make an announcement video? So if you're interested, please let us know, and we will see you guys next time right here on the GameTime Podcast.